want to explain the construction of a parabola given the span and the height. In this case, we're going to make use of the span 80 and then the height 50. Now, the first thing you are going to consider, the first procedure is just using the span as length and then the height as the width. You construct a rectangle. Now, you need to mark out. You need to mark out using either your ruler or your scale rule to mark out. The first thing I always tell you to do is this: don't forget. Now, since I may still want to have another drawing up, I need to start the drawing from the bottom. You need a thin continuous line. You may not see that very well because it's not sticking out. And then I'm going to mark out with my compass the required dimension for my length. Make sure that your compass, the knot there is tight. So like I said the span we'll use for the length, and that is 80. You can see the way I want to do it now. That 80 mm is empty as 8 centimeter. Then stay anywhere on this point, on this line. Stay anywhere on the line to mark out a point, and then you come back again to where you have drawn the arc, where the arc is cutting that point of intersection. Then you have your length, which is the span that was given. Now you need your set square to draw a vertical line on this point. Actually, I'm supposed to use the adjustable set square, but because some of you may not know how to use that, that's why I'm using this. But along the line, I'm going to use the adjustable set square to draw out what is required. Let me even use that straight away to save our time. Then the same thing will happen here. Now we need the height, and we said that we're going to use 50. So mark out your 50, which is also 5 centimeter on that. You can see it. I will stay at the point of intersection here, cut out this vertical. I also do the same thing here. Then I can join the two lines, the 2 points, with a thin continuous line. That's the first thing we're to do. We're to do what? Construct a rectangle A, B, C, D. We have our A, our B, our C, and our D at this point. The next thing is we're to divide AD. We're to divide this, and we're to divide BC into the same number of equal parts. Let's say we divide into 6 equal parts. Now what I will do is that I'm going to draw out a line, a diagonal line from point A. A diagonal line from point A to mark out my divisions. You can set this to any angle as you wish. Then get your compass, since you want to divide into 6 equal parts, just a small radius, let the pencil and the tip of the needle meet. The small radius stay at this point, and you mark out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now the last point there, I will call it 1 prime, 2 prime, 3 prime, 4 prime, 5 prime, 6 prime. The last point here, join it to point D. Now you need to now slide off. Combine your adjustable set square and your adjustable set square and your T-square. Adjustable set square and your T-square to be used. And use this side to check out. Make sure it aligns with the last line drawn. Then you can draw the line down, come to 0.5, draw that, come to 0.4, come to 0.3, then 0.1. Now from there you can mark the same point on BC. Just to save your time. Now after you have done that, what do? The next step is, according to the step given, bisect BDC to get the fattest. You have to bisect this point to get the fattest. And you know that the fattest has to do with the highest point on the parabola. So we make use of our compass and pencil to do that. You extend more than the half as usual. Draw an arc up, down, then you come to this point to do the same thing to cut the previous arcs. Then join the lines together with thin continuous line, and that line we cut BDC. Name that point V where the bisector is cutting line CD or DC. Name that point V. That's where we have our fattest. Then what is the next thing from there? After you have divided that, after you have gotten your V, divide DV and CV into the same number of equal parts. Now we also divide this DV and DC into 6 portions, just like we had for the previous ones. So I can just mark out this. I need to draw a line out also to do that. If I'm going to do it the way I've done this, I want to move from C to V this time around, just for my division. The radius of the compass will not be too much this time around. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I will join the last point just for me to get the divisions. That's what I'm trying to do here. And then you can use your ISS square to draw out. I want to believe it has aligned this way. So you have those points. You can just pick any of the points here and set it off on the other side. You have to make sure that it's not extending more than normal. So I have this point for the first one, then 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, what is the next thing we are to do? We are to draw vertical lines on all the divisions on DV and CV. This is DV and CV. We are going to draw vertical lines. After that, we radiate lines from V to each division on AD and BC. We radiate lines from V to AD and BC. We are going to draw lines from here to this point, from V to this point, V to this point, V to this point, V to this point. The same thing will happen here also. The same thing will happen here. From V to this point, this, and then the last point down here. that one didn't meet. That's the line. That point. That. Now, after you have done that, you are going to join the points of intersection of the vertical lines of V with their corresponding radial lines of V to get the parabola. Now, don't forget that this line is meeting, we have the radial line coming from V to this point, radial line coming from V to meet this point. The same thing here, you can see it's so tiny, thin, like that. Now, where the lines that are radiated from V are coming to meet all these points. Now look at it. Now we have, this is line 6, line 5, line 4, line 3, line 2, line 1, and then we come to the center line here where we have the V. You note them one after the other. The first line, this first line coming out here, will start from this point, and then look at the second line. This is the first line from here cutting the vertical at this point. The second line is cutting this 2 at this point. The third line is cutting 3 at this point, and this is cutting 4 at this point. Then the fifth line is cutting 5, the fifth line here, and then 6 is coming to this point. The same thing will happen here. This is your first line, second line, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. So the radial line 1, we call the vertical line 1 at this point. The radial line 2, we call the vertical line 2 at this point. The radial line 3, this is the line, we call the vertical line 3 at this point. The same thing will happen here. The radial line 1, we cut the vertical line 1 at this point. 2, we cut here. Then 3, we cut here. 4, we cut here. 5, we cut here. Then 6, we come here. At the end, you need your flexible curve to now join these points together to form your parabola. You use your flexible curve. If you are not having flexible curve, you will need to use your broom to do that. I will use my hand to do this. I'll use my hand to join the points. That's the parabola. So all you just need to do is to label out the points. This is drawing a parabola when you are given the span and then the height. The span here is 80 and then the height is 50. The highest point on the parabola is the V vertex. So that is how to construct with the given parameters. Thank you.